Welcome to this video about the real rich man's fund. How rich people make their money grow and never pay taxes on it. Let's get into it. Okay, so what I'm going to describe to you in this video is what I consider to be the most powerful financial tool I've ever experienced in my entire life. So now before I get into it though, I have to explain I am not a CPA, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a dentist, I'm not an orthodontist, I don't have any licenses or certifications. The only thing I can offer to you is my own personal experience. The beautiful thing about my personal experience though is not only is it firsthand, but I found it to work brilliantly. It's incredible. For all the years that I've been alive and all the different businesses I've been involved in, if there was one single secret financial tool I wish I had known about from the beginning, even as a little kid, I wish I had known about the rich man's fund. Now there's another term for it that I'm going to share with you, and that is the laser fund. That's actually a trademarked name, the laser fund, for what technically is called a tax-advantaged insurance contract. And basically, some people would describe it as whole life insurance indexed against markets. But it's much more, there's much more to it technically about how it performs that makes it a laser fund. So the laser fund is actually part of liveabundant.com. That's who I got my laser fund through. And I actually have two of them. I have one on myself personally, and I have one on a business that I own. And the beautiful thing about this laser fund is that, well, let me ask you this. When you think of life insurance, do you think about it in terms of, okay, well, this will help my family when I die. It'll help take care of bills. It'll help get me buried. It'll help them be able to compensate for the fact that I'm not around anymore to provide income to help support the house. And it gives them some consolation for the fact that I'm not in their life anymore. That's generally how most people think about it. Is that how you think about it? Have you ever considered using life insurance as a way to generate income for yourself and also to make it so that not only the money you put into that policy is tax-free, but also the money that you get out of it is tax-free? See, now, notice that I didn't call it an investment because you don't want it to be an investment. Now, here's a little secret for you. When you call something an investment, then all those tax laws that are written about investments and how they get taxed and how they get ruled and all the different SEC rulings and all the IRS rulings and all that happy stuff all starts to fall down on you. And that's where you have the challenge of actually being profitable in investments. Okay, so that's why I'm not calling it an investment. It's an insurance policy. It's a tax-advantaged insurance contract. So this whole life policy that's indexed against markets performs in such a way that you make maximum contributions each month to it, and you get the minimum death benefit from it when you die. Now, why on earth would you want to do that? Why would you want to pay for life insurance that gives you the least amount of money if you pass away? Because because you're not buying it for when you pass away, you don't get to use it when you pass away. You're buying it to be able to leverage it while you're alive. That's exactly right. So a life insurance policy that you can actually get monetary benefit from while you're alive. It's called a laser fund. It's also been known as the rich man's fund. And it also happens to be one of the oldest legal ways to protect wealth, to protect your family, to protect yourself. Oh, and also to be able to leverage for investments like starting a business or buying real estate or anything that you want, or going on vacation or paying for a child's college tuition. Now see, the really interesting thing about me deciding to do this video isn't just that I I love doing the videos on things that are trending. Don't get me wrong, right? But all of these amazing people who have started subscribing to this channel, to Richest You channel, I want to actually provide you with some stuff that maybe you've never heard before, and maybe other folks just even who are trending have never heard before. I want to be able to provide you with the secrets that I've learned that have helped make my life so much more peaceful. I sleep really well at night now. And it's not just about businesses, but this tool in particular has brought a peace of mind to me that I could never ever have imagined before. But one of the other reasons that I decided it was important to do this video for all of you folks watching is because I just had a death in the family. I just lost my mom. I had to fly home last weekend to bury her, and that whole time, I got to see my family and I got to visit and I got to say goodbye. But it really brought to mind how important this laser fund has become to me as a financial tool for growing my wealth while I'm alive. But even more important, the comfort of knowing that, God forbid, anything should happen to me when I'm working or traveling or whatever, that my families, my loved ones are taken care of really, really well. And that they can then do the same thing with that laser fund. They can roll the laser funds that I have over into new laser funds for them if I pass away and generate more money and live off of that completely tax-free. So now here's how it works, right? You put in the most money legally allowed monthly into this insurance policy. And this insurance policy is structured a very specific way to meet the specifications of what makes it a laser fund or makes it a tax-advantaged insurance contract. But it gives you the minimum death benefit. So literally what you're doing is you're insuring yourself. Now, the government loves it when people take care of themselves. I talked about that in other videos. The government wants you to be rich because then they don't have to pay for your medical and your Social Security and all of this other stuff that everybody wants the government to hold their hand. Anytime somebody actually works towards and pays towards taking care of themselves, the government gives you all kinds of tax advantages. That's why this type of insurance and income from insurance will never be taxed, because the government wants you to do this stuff. All right, so you're making maximum contributions, you're taking a minimum death benefit. So now, while that money is in your insurance policy, if you've structured it properly to be part of a laser fund, that means it's also indexed against markets like the S&P or the New York Stock Exchange, things like that. So when the market does well and goes up, it earns money for the insurance company, and you get a percentage of that for letting them use your insurance money to index against it. Now, be real clear here. There's a difference between indexing against and actually investing in a market. When you indexed against it, you're not actually buying stock. You're not actually in the market. You're just making basically a guess about whether the market will go up or down. And your money is not in the market actually, compared to when you buy stock and your money is actually in the market and you're buying equity in a company. So when the stock goes down, your value goes down. Now, the beautiful thing though is with an indexed insurance contract, you don't lose money. So say you put over the course of a year $1,000 a month into an insurance contract like this, and you've got $12,000 at the end of the first year. Average earnings for a tax-advantaged insurance contract that's indexed against a fund like that or a market like that is between 7 and 8%. And actually, they perform a little bit better often, many times 10%. And historically, you can look and see, historically, 10%. So just to keep the numbers easy, let's stay at 10%. So if you have $12,000 and that year the market performed average and you made 10%, you've got another $1,200 in your tax-advantaged insurance contract that is not taxed. That's right. If you made $1,200 in the market investing in stocks, you get 30 or more % taxed on that $1,200. Well, guess what? In the tax advantage insurance contract, you get to keep 100% of your profit. Not only that, but now your $12,000 now is $13,200. So $13,200. Now you've got more earning potential for year 2. Now let's say year 2, all of a sudden the market crashes. We have another 2008. In fact, that's one of the things I did a video on recently, is index funds are the next bubble. And the market goes down horribly. Because you're indexed against the market, you'd think, oh no, my insurance contract is going to lose value. No! Actually, it doesn't. The worst that can happen to you with an indexed contract like that is that it just makes you nothing for the year. Your principal of $13,200 stays the same. Now, there's more to this that I'm not going to get into in this video. It's much, much, much more complicated. But you have also the option of multiplying your percentage that you earn each year. Now, remember something. When you earn that percentage, it's completely tax-free. And then now you have the option of paying a certain fee to multiply on a year that you think is going to be very good. And guess when it usually is very good? When the market usually goes up. Right after a downturn. 1 or 2 years after, you can be sure that the next few years the market's going to go back up. And guess what people do? They multiply for those years until they're not sure. And then they just go regular percentage. So that 10%, if you did a 3 times multiplier or a 4 times multiplier, suddenly your 10% becomes 40%, right? 4-time multiplier for 10 times 4, 40%. Now instead of making $1,200, you've made, 12 times 4, right? $4,800 for 1 year. $4,800 investment. Oh, and by the way, it's tax-free. You don't have to give any of it to Uncle Sam. And now your fund has $13,200 plus $4,800, right? So $17,000, $18,000, right? Is that about right? $13,200, $4,800, $17,000, $18,000. How about that for performance, right? Now that's if you use the multiplier, but I'll have to do a different video for that. So actually what I'm going to ask is that everybody who's interested in learning more details about how these laser funds work, definitely make a comment down below and ask questions. And in fact, in the description down below, you'll see a link to liveabundant.com. Now, I've got to be completely transparent with you. When you go to them, please let them know that you heard of the laser fund from Richest. And here's why. Because yes, I have the potential of making some money if you decide to go ahead and sign up and get a laser fund from them. So it is kind of like an affiliate program, but it's actually more like a reseller program. However, I will tell you this. This is actually the best, most powerful financial tool I've ever found in my entire life. And I've been studying for years and using tools for years. And I am absolutely convinced that everyone should start their own laser fund. So yeah, I might make a little bit of money off of you doing it, but more importantly, now you have this information, you can go out and research it yourself. Or even better, if you're really interested in learning how to do it, ask questions in the comments below and I will answer them directly, right to you. Or even better, go right to liveabundant.com and talk to them. Speak to the fellows who invented the laser fund and are using that name specifically. They're experts at the laser fund and how to make sure it's structured properly. See, now that's a really important point, because you could go to any insurance agent and ask them to open a whole life indexed fund for you and to make sure that it's a tax advantaged insurance contract. But how much experience do they actually have at making sure that no matter how you use it, it doesn't get taxed? It doesn't get all of those other laws applied to it. It's very specific in the law how you have to use it. You have to fund it over a certain amount of time. You can only pay a certain amount according to your value or according to the insurance that you're buying. You can always buy more. You can buy more policies, but it's just a whole bunch of different things. Now, there's another secret to the laser fund that you should be aware of. Once you have your laser fund established and it meets all of the legal requirements of a real laser fund, you're able to borrow money against your laser fund. Now, so imagine, let's talk about that $12,000 in your first year, right? You have $12,000 in your first year in your laser fund. You can borrow up to 90% of that $12,000. So I think that's about 11,000, 11 or 10,000, somewhere around there, whatever 90% of 12,000 is. You can borrow 90% of that and not get taxed on it. Now, do you have to pay that loan back? Well, you'd be paying yourself back and it'd be going back in, right? But actually, if you never paid that loan back, you still, when you die, your death benefit would first pay back the loan you took. So technically, you don't ever have to pay that loan back. Even better, the amount $12,000 in your insurance contract, even though you just borrowed, say, $10,000 of that, still stays $12,000. That means you still have $12,000 in your insurance contract earning you that percentage every year, even though you borrowed $10,000 to put a down payment on a house or to take a vacation or to pay for a course in college, right? You still have your full $12,000 earning you more money every year. And guess what? You're not getting taxed on it. And oh, by the way, you don't have to pay it back. Oh, and on a laser fund that's structured properly, by the way, you can actually skip payments once in a while. You don't have to make the payment every month, just so long as that by the end of the year, you meet the full payment for the full year. So let's be real clear there. So if you're paying $1,000 a month and you're supposed to pay a full year is $12,000, so you get to the end of the year and you've only paid $8,000 at the end of the year, you'll need to catch up and pay that extra $4,000 to make sure that you're not in violation, right? To keep the laser fund legal, you have to pay that full amount by the end of the year. But guess what? If you have a rough month, you don't lose everything. Isn't that nice? Oh, and here's a kicker. Maybe you're having a bad year, but your laser fund is established and you can't seem to generate enough money to make your monthly payments. So you come to the end of the year and what do? You borrow against your laser fund to make sure you keep your laser fund paid, right? Oh, and you don't have to pay that loan back. I mean, there's a million different ways you could use this laser fund to make sure that you keep yourself solvent, you keep your business solvent, to help your family, to help yourself, maybe just to go on vacation and never pay it back because when you die, the death benefit pays the loan. Isn't that convenient? Insurance that actually works for you while you're alive, a laser fund. So let me know if you want to learn more about this by asking questions in the comments below, and also do your homework. Go to the link below in the description to liveabundant.com and ask them about the laser fund. Just please do me the kind favor of making sure that you mention you heard about it through the Richest You. And if you want more information, I'll do another video with more detail about how the laser fund can benefit anyone. Even if you just don't have a whole lot of money, you can start very small. The trick is you have to watch your health, because remember, we're talking about life insurance. Now, there are ways to wrangle around that even if you kind of have bad health. But the trick really is, for the rich man's fund, you kind of have to be healthy. So this is actually a win-win. It helps you make money, but it also encourages you to have a healthy lifestyle. You can't lose with that. That's wonderful. So if you're interested in learning more about the laser fund, make sure you check out the link down below with liveabundant.com. And of course, like I said, I want to hear questions, comments, and observations. Bring it on. I love this topic. I love being able to talk to you guys, and thank you so much to all of our subscribers. We're trying to grow the channel. We hope that you're enjoying what we're doing. Also, if you're interested in learning how to master your finance, really get a hold of what you're doing with your life in terms of money and understanding how money really works, then I would strongly encourage you to look in the description below and follow that to our online course called The Richest You Mastering Money. That course is built for people like yourself because I was you. I was searching for a source of information that actually worked and provided quantifiable results. I guarantee you in this course, you'll learn things that you will never hear from anybody else about money. All right, well, thanks for tuning in. Everybody, make sure you give us a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you know every time we put up a new one. And make sure you put some comments down below. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again real soon.